Hey everyone, Gear Grinder here. So, I understand it's been forever since I've uploaded anything, about a little over a year, and sorry about that, but what made me make this video was some notifications I've been receiving recently about people subscribing to my channel, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not at all bothered by that. I'm actually happy that even after I've stopped uploading for a year, people still want to see my videos. Even though there's nothing new, but I'm still very appreciative. So I feel I owe it to the people who've been subscribed to me since day one, as well as the new people who are trying to see what I'm doing currently. I feel like I owe you all an explanation as to where I've been, what I've been doing, and what it is I'm trying to do. Also, apologies if you hear background sound. I have a really bad habit of fidgeting whenever I talk, and I try to stay focused. So if you hear like a random thunk or paper swishing around, that's just me fidgeting. So ignore that if you can, please. So let me start off by saying this video is going to be entirely unscripted. At the moment, I'm just staring at a space on the wall. I'm trying to do my best to stay focused on one topic at a time and not say ums and ahs. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the update. So in terms of my physical overall well-being, well, I can safely say I'm not dead. I haven't moved to a different country or anything. I'm still in the US. Though I am on the opposite side of the US. Those of you who know me personally know that I used to live in Illinois. Now, I live somewhere else. I'm not going to say specifically where because, well, I don't want people, knowing where I live. Another really big reason why I'm reviving my channel, or at least attempting to revive my channel this time, is mainly due to a lot of personal issues I've been having. Like, a lot of personal issues. I don't have a lot in terms of what I can do for distractions. Since where I live, it's kind of costly to do anything around here. And not only is it costly, but it's also kind of time-consuming, which unfortunately I don't have a whole lot of on my days off. So I want to devote that entirely towards what I can. In this case, uploading essentially uploading my random gibbering nonsense up onto YouTube and hoping that it gets enough likes and views to warrant uploading more. So that covers my physical well-being, but in terms of my mental well-being, okay, so, this is a bit rough. My mental well-being has been... I've called my mental well-being into question several hundred times over the past year or so since I last updated. For a number of reasons. Again, for those of you who followed me even remotely slightly, you knew... I believe I may have posted this on my DeviantArt account, I completely forget, but I lived with my mother and brother for about 3 years. That was up until about 2018, about mid-2018, I want to say around April or May. Forgive me if this is a little bit too personal for me to disclose to possible random strangers, but I was living with my mother and brother at the time, and my mother has passed, and I was actually living with her at the time of her passing. It was rough. It's still rough. I still think about it. I still think about her to this day. Of course, I'll never forget my own mother. Living with my brother was also kind of rough. Don't get me wrong, I love that man dearly. He essentially stepped in like a father figure for me and tried to do everything he could to protect me. I don't know why I said could like that, but he did everything he could to try to protect me, and like a dumbass, I squandered that. So I decided the best way for me to make amends would be to let him live his own life. I tried to come out to a city where I can live my own life and start my own legacy, dynasty, whatever you want to call it. Start my own life and become my own man. It's been about a year and well, like I said, about a year and maybe some odd months, and it's been extremely rough. I won't go into details as to what caused what or why things are the way they are now, but I've been I can't even say recently. I've actually been diagnosed with this since I was about 16, 17, but I don't know if I've ever actually publicly disclosed it. I've been clinically diagnosed with depression, very severe depression, and also severe anxiety. Enough so to the point where it warrants me taking medication. I've been off that medication. Not intentionally. God, no, not intentionally. Mainly because of costs. And I'm hoping now that I'm living on my own, I can make up for lost time and start going to, I don't know, possibly going to therapy, getting on an antidepressant. But in the meantime, until I can actually get to that point, I'm hoping to use my channel as a platform for, I guess sort of only word I could think of for it is really kind of like a sanctuary for my thoughts, since because of my anxiety and depression and my childhood ADD, it's extremely hard for me to get all my thoughts out in one go without getting super distracted. Sorry, I realize this is probably ridiculously heavy for most people to deal with or for most people to hear, especially if they're new to the channel or if they literally just subscribed, or even if I hadn't talked to you personally about this already. But I feel like things like this need to be said rather than thought of, because if I sit and dwell on my thoughts for too long, it eventually just starts to loop, like sort of like a feedback loop or an information loop in a computer. It's consistently stuck on that same thing, and eventually it'll become too much to the point where everything else stops functioning. Everything else just stops working exactly the way it's supposed to, and the entire time you're devoted solely towards that one thing. And it's not healthy, because if you obsess over it, or rather when I obsess over it, a lot of really bad habits start to pop back up. A lot of habits that I genuinely thought I had stopped or had dealt with or had found a compromise for. One of those habits being substance abuse. Now, I'm not doing anything super ridiculously hardcore or anything like that. Literally nothing involving needles. The most it's been has been marijuana, which I am stopping as of now. I've been smoking marijuana for the past maybe 3-4 months, which has, in addition to my own paranoia and my own self-loathing, has massively escalated my depression and anxiety. Now, that's not to say marijuana is addictive. It's not. Marijuana has absolutely no addictive properties, but it does have a very, very heavy tendency to affect those who are emotionally dependent on other people or other things. Typically the lonely, the depressed, the self-hating, etc., etc., etc. Now, that doesn't speak for everybody, of course. People can enjoy it recreationally without having those symptoms or without having those problems prior to the usage of it. I'm just saying it's definitely a very, very big opportunity for people who are in the same mental and emotional condition like I am to stem towards it. It also doesn't help that I live really, really, really close to a source of marijuana. So, I mean, that's another huge gap to jump, essentially. I've been trying to distract myself with a lot of the resources that I have available, like stuff on my computer. I've got my PlayStation 4. I've also made a few work friends and some not work friends. Some regular people that I see, not friends per se, more like acquaintances. But, again, considering the cost of living of where I'm at currently, it makes it really, really difficult to enjoy anything when you have to pay rent, then phone bill, then electric bill, then internet bill, and you gotta pay for insurance and this, that, and the other. Gotta pay for bus fare, gotta pay for this and that. It's essentially a never-ending cycle of owing, which I understand that's life, generally. But considering I haven't had the chance to experience stuff like this up until recently, I'm very, very, very late to the party in terms of having to handle all of this. Now, One other thing that I've caught myself doing as a bad habit that I've been trying to stop is self-harm. Now, I don't cut myself. I should clarify that right away. But I have a bad habit of nervous picking. And this escalates whenever I'm high, I realize now. Especially recently. I will pick the shit out of my face, my hands, my arms. I just suddenly feel this huge wave of itchiness climb on me whenever I start to dwell on my own thoughts for too long, and it's always a very, very bad time. A very, very bad time, which is another huge reason why I want to stop, because if I don't, I'm afraid I might peel my face off. Probably, literally. So as I said before, I'm hoping to use my channel as a sort of platform for me to vomit my own thoughts onto, my own insecurities and all that. I'm hoping to do this once a week, probably, depending upon how I feel about this first take. If this gets received relatively well, then awesome, I might do more. If no one wants to hear me essentially not sell my soul, puke my guts out. That was also a bad term. Essentially, if no one wants to hear me say my piece on how my life is going, that's perfectly fine. I can accommodate too. I'm used to getting told that. So yeah, I mean, if you want to hear more about what I have to say about specific things, or even just about myself, if you want to hear me talk about myself like a narcissist, I'd be more than happy to. Just post a comment on it down below, leave a like or dislike or whatever you want, I guess. I'll try to maintain a certain level of consistency. This requires the least amount of work compared to my other projects I was working for or working with, so I have no reason to not upload. So if I ever upload, or if I ever miss an upload once a week, if this does become a thing, then I'm either dead or I've reached an emotional point where I feel like I should stop. Not permanently, but just stop for that week. Like, I'm that, pardon my vernacular, I'm that fucked up for that week that I don't feel like I should upload anything. Again, sorry this has all gotten extremely super ridiculously heavy, but I mean, that's kind of how this goes now, unfortunately. And I mean, shit, if you personally also have been going through a lot of personal issues or self-harm issues or anything like that, if you feel comfortable disclosing that information on a public forum, please do so in the comments. Seriously, I greatly encourage anyone who's going through a rough time, who needs a vent, or just needs a place to say their piece, where they feel like they should be heard, or will be heard. Please, please, please leave a comment on this video, or any other subsequent videos after this, of this nature, and I honestly, I'll read it, I'll review it, I'll either leave a personal message as a reply, or I'll send a direct message to your channel or something like that. And hell, who knows? Maybe we can talk stuff out. Maybe talk on a video or something. I don't know. Like I said, this is just sort of mental barfing at this point, so I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. But again, yeah, if you want to hear me talk about myself more on this level, or on a more unscripted or scripted measure, I guess you want to call it, just please leave a like or comment or what have you. Let me know how you think about it, and hopefully this will be the start of something great. If not great for the channel, then at least hopefully, sorry to sound selfish on this, hopefully it'll be at least great towards my anxiety and self-esteem, since, as you can probably guess, I am more the quiet type. I don't get heard that often, or I feel like I don't get heard that often, unfortunately. So having a place for me personally to say my piece, or vent, or just be myself feels fantastic. But if it's not what you guys are into, then it's perfectly fine. I can find something else to upload weekly. But yeah, thanks for popping in, watching this, listening to me ramble, and hopefully we can start something potentially fantastic.